All right. So if you want to call the meeting now, we can start.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting for today, Thursday, February 17th, Ohio City Design Review to order. I'm Antonia Marinucci. I'm going to go through all the committee members that are present.
So now I'll call the roll. Antonia Marinucci,
Here.
Alex Frondorf,
Here.
Margaret Land,
Here.
Marika Clark,
Here.
Doug Wall, Chris Lozier. Okay, our first applicant is, our only applicant is 4410 Franklin Avenue, or Franklin Boulevard fencing, and the representative is Jim Myers.
Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it. I think you probably will remember I was with you guys back in November, I think it was. We had received, after a couple meetings, approval for a new aluminum fence in front and gate in front of the vacant land in front of St. Herman's Focus. At that time, question was asked, what about the iron fence in front of the house? And what I found out was that had been replaced earlier in the year. We didn't realize we needed a permit for it. And so we pulled together the requisite data, put it together. And then when I was in City Hall, Carl reminded me that I needed to stop by and see you guys again. He had asked specifically about where the materials went, both the fence and the limestone base. Both of them were removed and the materials are no longer available to my knowledge. The base was all crumbled up, not usable for a fence, and the iron in the judgment of our fencing person was not repairable at this point in time. We'd put some money into it before. And so the decision was made to replace it with a similar iron fence, which we did. I've got the pictures in our application so you can see that. And so I'm here basically to ask for, I don't know what you call it, a forgiveness permit, but that's kind of where we are.
And so when you say that it's unavailable, what happened to the original fence?
We believe it was probably scrapped out.
So do we know that it was scrapped out, or we have a hunch that it was scrapped out?
It was removed by some landscapers that we had that day, and when Paul Finley, who's our executive director, asked them what happened to it, they said they don't have it anymore. So I'm assuming that means they scrapped it out. I don't think that means they resold it. We're just not, I can't tell you with 100% certainty. I just know that we don't have it in our possession anymore, nor does the guy who took it out.
So you're looking for approval for what's on the screen right there, what's directly in front of it. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And then you said that is iron, or is that some other material?
It's iron, yes. The only thing that's different about it, I mean, it's slightly different in design, but the only thing that's majorly different to it is the gate that was installed on the front walk. There was maybe at some point in time a gate there in the past, but there was nothing there, at least for the 10 years I've been associated with St. Herman's. And so we decided to put the gate there at the walkway as well. If you see the drawing from the side from the previous page, there's a cyclone fence, maybe the next page, I apologize, Nate. There's a cyclone fence that runs, let's see, this would be north and south along the border between our house and Donna's house. And that we also got approval from you guys to replace with a aluminum fence to make that look a lot nicer.
Do you have pictures of the original fence in this application?
I do not know. If you run over to Google Earth and look up the what do you call it, street view, it'll show up, I believe.
Jim, does this look like the previous fence that was there?
Yeah, that's it, I believe. Mhm. It looks like it's a merger of a bunch of different things over time.
So the fence that you put in now is much, or it appears much taller than that.
It would look that way to me. Yeah, I don't have measurements. This one's 4 foot tall. The previous one looks like parts of the design features were shorter than that.
And
Nate,
just
can you
to-
go back to the screenshot or the,
yeah, absolutely. I was just about to add, Jim did agree, we did, or Jim and the applicant agreed to make it a 4 foot fence so that they wouldn't need a variance. Am I correct on that? Because that's what's allowed by code.
That goes back to the aluminum fence.
Okay.
Thank God this one's 4 feet.
And so where my cursor is, that was replaced, correct? That's where the aluminum fence is?
Well, that will, when we haven't pulled the final permit yet, we're still getting, we have a donor who's paying for the aluminum fence. And so we just want to make sure that we have the money in hand when we order the fence. So you can see down where your cursor is, where the gentleman in the, yeah. So that from the driveway right is where the aluminum fence is going to go. So we'll tear out that cyclone fence, most of those wood bollards, and install the fence that was approved there. That'll go all the way over to the Franklin Castle property. There'll be a gate in front. That's a swing gate right now, or excuse me, a retractable gate. And then on the west end of the properties where we'll have that small fence removed and have a matching aluminum fence going back along the driveway and then tying back to the house.
Is
Any
that
questions?
reflected on the little site plan here? I'm just trying to make sure I understand what you're saying of where the other parts of the fence go.
So if you look at,
Yeah, if you keep going up, there's, yeah, that.
site, there we go. Okay, so we have 3 parcels. The part that is circled is the iron fence that we're talking about today. If you go to the right from that circle, that's where the aluminum fence is going to go. Okay, those are the 2 vacant parcels. And then if you go back to this blob or circular area and then go north, you'll see a small inverted L. And that is where also the aluminum fence will go to improve the look of that side of the house, because the cyclone fence is a mess. Or chain link fence, whatever you call it.
But today's application is just the retroactive approval for the iron fence, because we already approved the aluminum fence to the right, and you have not yet come before us for the remainder of the aluminum fence on this parcel. Is that correct?
So I believe that we have approval for the aluminum fence that goes before the 2 vacant parcels, the gate that goes over the driveway, and the 20 or so feet that goes north from.
Oh, okay. So
the only thing we're really talking about now is the iron
thank you.
fence that got put in without a permit.
Mhm. I mean, I think if you had come before us with this proposal prior to being installed, we would have certainly approved the replacement material, iron being in kind. The height meets the code regulation. I think we probably would have asked for the design to reflect a little bit more of what had been there with the the height variation.
Yep.
But I mean, I do appreciate the investment in the new iron material, and I do think that overall it is an attractive design for the house, the property.
I agree with that, Margaret. The material is fine. The design, we probably would have tweaked and improved upon.
I agree too. Is anyone like bothered by the concrete replacing what was bluestone or sandstone? That was likely original.
Yeah.
And is there a scenario where we could ask that the concrete is replaced with sandstone to maintain the integrity of the historic walkway? I don't know if that's getting,
I mean, I think that would be a good
precious.
compromise because you can't
Yeah,
easily at this point alter the fence as is. But to replace the concrete with sandstone is fairly relatively simple. It would have to be removed, sandstone laid down, and the fence anchored to that.
Could we, as an alternative, stain the concrete or something like that to make it look more aged or something like that?
my preference would be to either leave it as concrete rather than try to make it, like a faux material. It would be,
Well, I mean, that's just it. If you're going to take it out and stain it, then you've already done the lion's share of the work.
No,
You
you
might
don't.
as well put down the
You'd take
sandstone.
it out, you'd stain the surface of it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that would feel inauthentic too.
I'm trying to avoid the cost of, I don't know what it'll cost us to pull all that concrete out, dismantle the fence, reinstall it. I have no idea.
It becomes so difficult for us because of what we would have recommended,
Right.
Mhm.
Versus doing something retroactively.
In Jim, we see a lot of an increased number of these applicants come through. I'm not ascribing any ill intent here, but who are asking for forgiveness rather than permission, and it really erodes the protections of the historic district. And so we struggle with how to address these after the fact applications.
Yeah, and I guess that I could not, I can't disagree with that at all. The only thing I think that works in our favor in terms of our intentions is we came before you guys on our own for the fence along the vacant parcel.
Right.
Yeah, again, I'm not ascribing any of
That
that.
was a permitting process. We just, quite frankly, did not realize a replacement was going to require it, and that's clearly our fault. I mean, I can't argue with you at that, but at all.
What about Jim, what's the surface? I can't tell from the photos. Did you guys improve or replace the sidewalk from the gate to the steps?
No, we have not done that. The steps, if you look at it's hard to tell from here. They're I don't know what they are exactly. They may be concrete. They may be.
I see. It almost looks like a formed
They're
concrete pour. Yeah.
But the sandstone is still up there. The sandstone is still
walkway.
on the walkway.
Yeah, that's still there. I mean, we're looking at, I don't know if we have to come to you guys or not. We're probably looking to this for painting the house. But I know we did talk to a couple of inspectors about having to return, the ballasts or the poles there. If we have them replaced, they have to match exactly, all that kind of fun stuff. So we've been soliciting quotes for, repainting the house and repairing some of the wood and stuff like that to bring it back to its original state. So
Yeah.
the stairs, that's a long way of saying the stairs have been part of that conversation. I just don't know what, I'm not involved in all the things that go on there. Fortunately for me.
And that's fine. I'm not suggesting any changes to the stairs.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
would
wondering
make sure,
in terms
though,
of how far the removal went.
Yeah, my understanding, it was just simply there was the, whatever 10 or 12-inch wide limestone liner on the other side of the sidewalk that was removed because it was all just broken up.
Well, I have a proposal, and Jim, you can tell me if you accept or if this proposal would work for you. And what if we, rather than vote up or down on this today, what if we asked you to go and get a quote for what it would take to replace that portion of concrete with sandstone and bring that back, and then we would have more data in which to weigh a decision.
I'm
Alex,
happy-
would it be lime? Would it be the sandstone or whatever stone it is, only underneath the fence or also up to the stairs?
No, just underneath the fence portion there.
to
Right.
me,
You're welcome, of course, to go beyond that, sure.
Yes, unless they want to.
Yeah, go for it. But that portion of it.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just looking at the picture from Google Maps, and
It looks like you probably have about 30, if I had to guess, you probably had about 30 feet there.
Yeah, the lot's 50 feet wide, driveway's probably 12 or 14. So you're in the mid 30s range. Yeah. I can look into that for you. No problem.
I guess
Mhm.
I guess in my opinion, if he's going to go to the expense and the trouble of replacing stone, ripping up concrete and replacing stone underneath a fence, but then the area that like actually connects to the remaining sandstone path is still not sandstone. I don't know. That just seems sort of a little odd to me.
You mean the drive or the sidewalk?
Yeah, just that little path between the fence and the stairs. If we're, you get what I'm saying? If we're asking for a quote for only underneath the fence, but not that little portion.
Yeah.
That's like within the gate now, that goes up to the stairs.
I
Yeah.
think it is it is sandstone still.
Oh, it is. I thought you
Yeah,
were saying,
like they didn't replace it,
Or concrete that on that path.
just like that 2-foot strip that got repoured.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a
metal wood-
path-
Very like material. I think Alex's proposal is good because that'll help us understand if it's a financially infeasible, you know what I mean? If it's, I think at least making an effort to replace the historic material that was lost in the process is a good first step.
Okay, and in terms of the specification of the stone, we've mentioned limestone and sandstone. Are you asking me just to match whatever's in the pathway there so that we have some?
I think that
consistent-
makes sense, yeah.
And Jim, and I know this from working on my own home, there are places in Cleveland that sell old slate sidewalks.
Yeah.
It is not prohibitively expensive. I imagine the expense here is not the material, but simply the labor of installing it,
Right.
is my guess.
Yeah.
But there are ample supplies of this material, both sandstone and slate, in and around Cleveland. And I'll speak for myself. I don't know if my other committee members agree, but I'd be willing to work with you on the material, just so long it's a natural stone.
Okay.
Okay, I think that makes sense. I just, not to belabor the point, but in this image, the space between that fence and the stairs to me does not look like it's the same material that's in the Google Maps. Maybe it's just a bad picture and I'm reading it wrong.
I would agree. That's why I asked.
Are you asking if the sidewalk from the fence to the stairs has been replaced? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I'll find out that for sure for you as well. I'll get pictures for you too, better so you can see that.
Great.
So if there's no further questions or comments, Jim, you have to just request that we table this if you're comfortable with that.
I request that you table the motion until I respond to your additional questions.
Okay.
I move to, do I have to make a motion, Nate?
Yes.
I move to table the proposal.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. I'm going to call the roll. Antonio Marinucci,
Aye.
Margaret Land,
Aye.
Marika Clark,
Aye.
Alex Frondos.
Aye.
Okay, this item has been tabled.
Jim, we appreciate you working with us.
Thank you very much, everybody, and I'll be back in touch.
you.
I'll get this done in the next week or two.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is our only item on the agenda today. So Antonio, if you want to go ahead and formally end the meeting.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned.
Great.